Most of us use them every single day without even thinking about it. Browser extensions. They're just those little helpful tools living quietly up in our browser's toolbar. But, as we're about to see, a lot of them come with a hidden cost that we really need to talk about.
I know. It's a pretty dramatic question, right? But honestly, by the end of this, I think you'll see why it's a question we all have to start asking about the supposedly free tools we invite into our digital lives. And this is always how it starts, isn't it? You're writing an email and you think, I could use a grammar check. Or you're about to buy something and you wonder if there's a coupon code. You just click Add Extension and boom, you've got a new little assistant. It's so seamless, so easy, and almost always free. But what are you really agreeing to behind that one little click? So let's break this down. To really get a handle on the risk, we have to look at the two faces of these add-ons. Because they can be incredibly helpful, but they also carry a very, very real potential for harm. So what even is a browser extension, fundamentally? Well, at their core, they're just tiny little pieces of software. They're designed to customize your browser, adding cool features it doesn't have right out of the box. The easiest way to think about them is like apps, but for your web browser.
And let's be real, many of them are fantastic. We rely on password managers to keep our accounts secure, ad blockers to clean up all the clutter online, screen capture tools for work. These things genuinely make our digital lives way easier.
But, and this is a big but, here's where the problem creeps in. It all starts when these tools ask for way more power than they actually need to do their job. And since most of them are free, well, the developers have to make money somehow, right? Once they have that access, the temptation to sell your data to ad networks is often just too much to resist. And look, this isn't some what-if scenario. This is happening, and at a massive scale. Just in 2022, Google had to remove over 30 extensions from its Chrome store because they were secretly collecting user data. And we're not talking about some obscure tools here. These had been downloaded millions and millions of times.
Okay, so this gets to the heart of the issue, your data. When you grant an extension permission to run, what are you actually giving away? Let's take a closer look at what's really on display.
Just look at this. This really shows you the true surveillance power we're talking about. It's not just about which websites you visit. An extension can literally see the password you just copied from your clipboard. It can read the credit card number you're typing into a checkout form. It knows every single tab you have open and for how long. It's a deeply, deeply intimate portrait of your life online.
Now you're probably thinking, wait a minute, aren't there laws against this? And you're right, there are. Regulations like GDPR in Europe require explicit, informed consent. But here's the reality check. Almost nobody reads the fine print. We just see that big shiny add button, we click it, and we move on with our day. And that creates this huge gap between the legal protection we think we have and how we actually behave.
Okay, so that's the risk. It's pretty serious. But the good news is you are not powerless here. It's completely possible to take back control, and it all starts with doing a simple little privacy audit. Here's what you can do right now. It's just 4 simple steps. First, do a monthly cleanup. If you haven't used an extension in a while, just get rid of it. Second, dive into your browser settings and actually look at the permissions you've given each one. Third, for any tool that touches sensitive stuff, personal or work data, please just take 2 minutes to skim its privacy policy. And finally, be super wary of any extension that asks for the master key, permission to read and change all your data. That's a huge red flag. So, when you boil it all down, the main takeaway is that these tiny, seemingly insignificant add-ons can have this massively disproportionate access to our digital lives. It really throws a spotlight on that constant trade-off we're all making between convenience and our own privacy.
What this really means is that the simple little helper that's checking your spelling or finding you a discount, well, It could also be a silent data siphon quietly pumping your personal information to servers you know absolutely nothing about.
Ultimately, that line between a helpful tool and an intrusive spy is just getting blurrier every single day. So the question I want to leave you with is this. The next time you're about to click Add, just pause for a second and ask yourself, is this trade-off really worth it?